Gran Turismo 7's an example of everything that's wrong with video games in 2022. I had been looking forward to the game and I had every intention of buying it. But as with so many games these days, I took a step back and decided that that wasn't going to happen. And here's why. Well, first off, with Sony specifically, games are too expensive now. There's no need for a game to be $70, and in this case £70, because US prices have transferred directly across to UK prices. And you can see here we've got the game up on Game, which is a store in the UK, and you can see it's 70 or 69.99, so £70 all bar a penny, and that's too expensive. And I know that some people are going to say, oh, games cost so much more to make these days and all the rest of it. But the fact of the matter is that Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, many of these games companies, EA, you name it, they're making an absolute fortune. There's absolutely no need for a game to be $70 or £70. It's just ridiculous. And then Sony adds to the problem by having this upgrade nonsense, whereby it's £10 to upgrade from PS4 to PS5. If we look here, the PS4 version is $59.99, which again, I actually think $59.99 is too bloody expensive. But $59.99 for the PS4 version, or you can buy it for $69.99 for the PS5 version, and it's £10 to upgrade it if you've bought the PS4 version. So, that seems okay, but it's confusing. And for my money, I would say make the two versions the same price. What's the problem? And preferably make it under 50 quid. $49.99, what's the problem with that? That's expensive, but I think most people would pay that. And when you look at this upgrade nonsense, it's deliberately confusing. And I think, I do think it's deliberate. It's to make consumers wonder what version they should get and all the rest of it. We've seen this with Ubisoft with their 52 different versions of a game. Which one do you buy? As far as I'm concerned with this, Sony should do exactly the same as Microsoft have done. And look, Microsoft have got their own issues and I can have a go at them on other occasions. But Microsoft have got smart delivery. You buy the game, and depending on which version of Xbox console you've got, Xbox One or Xbox Series X and S, you'll get a different version, a better version if you've got a more powerful console. And they're the same price. What's the problem with that? So in this instance, as regards price and upgrades and all the rest of it, Sony, I'm sorry, but no, it's just not on. And then we've got the issue that the game was missold. And again, this is something that happens a lot these days. If we go into this page here, it says Gran Turismo 7 PS5 version has strange ray tracing restriction. Yeah. And the strange ray tracing restriction is that you don't actually get ray tracing during gameplay, which means that the visuals that were shown during the trailer aren't actually what you'll get when you're playing it. Oh, they're there for replays, but not during gameplays, as it says here. But it seems that the earlier trailer was at least somewhat an over-promise. Somewhat an over-promise. So it was missold to us. They missold the game. They told us it was going to have ray tracing, and in effect, it hasn't got ray tracing. And again, I know some people are going to try and damage control and say, well, it has got ray tracing in the replays. But who cares about replays? I mean, it's nice if you're a YouTuber and you want to do a replay and put it up on YouTube or whatever and people can see it with the ray tracing on. But for everyday gameplay, what's the point? So most people are going to, and let's be honest, most people who buy the game are going to think, oh, it's got ray tracing. Oh, great. And it's a selling point and all the rest of it. They're not even going to know. So as I say, it's been missold. And yeah, that really annoys me when companies do this. And again, I'm not having a go specifically at Sony here. This is something that a lot of these companies do. We see this kind of mis-selling going on all the time. And then we get into the microtransactions. The extremely egregious microtransactions. And it says here, Gran Turismo 7's microtransactions are live, and GT Sports cars, $5 cars, are now $40. $40 bloody dollars for a car. I mean, if you look down here, and we'll come back to this bit in a minute, but if we look down here, we can see, let's just go Aston Martin Vulcan 16, $4.99 in GT Sport, 3,300,000 credits in GT7, which amounts to $40. Same for the McLaren P1 GTR, the Audi R18 TDI, $40. And then if we go down here, a previous State of Play video showing the game in action showed some legendary cars costing up to 20 million credits. It's not clear if car values have been changed since then. VGC hasn't seen any cars at that price in the game, but the legendary car showroom does rotate on a regular basis, so they may appear at some point. If they do, such a car would cost $200 in real money. Now, that may well not happen, but if it does, it'll be unbelievable. I mean, $200 for a car. I mean, that's nearly 4 times as much as the game itself. It's ridiculous. And, you know, $40 itself is almost as much as the game itself. And I wonder if this $200, people will look at that and they'll go, oh, well, actually, it's not so bad because they're only $40. Yeah, because that's really what we want, isn't it? I mean, come on. How can anyone justify that level of greed? I don't care if it's $200 or $40. $40 for a car is utterly, utterly ridiculous. And nobody in their right mind can defend that. But it gets worse because the microtransactions weren't accessible during the review period of the game. And if we if we go up here, you can see it here. It says, during the review period, these microtransactions were inaccessible. So it wasn't possible to tell how much credits would cost when the game was released. Now that it's out, however, the full price for these microtransactions have been revealed. Yeah, haven't they just? And that's led to a situation where we had really good reviews for the game. If you look here, if we go up, we've got a 87 Metascore. This is from critics, and that's 108 critics critic reviews, sorry. 87 Metacritic score, which is pretty bloody good. But then you go over and you look at the user score, it's 1.6. Which, some people have said that this is down to Xbox gamers coming in and trying to bring the score down. But I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. If you look down here, we can see, and I'm going to come back to this one in a minute, but these are actually people who've played the game. Pushing their greed, they want to turn GT Series into a money vacuum, damn it. And then this one here, what a scam. Do not buy this game. They nerfed all the prizes, so it's impossible to get any of the best cars with playing your life away. So now it's like they're forcing you to buy credits, which is exactly what we see in so many games now. They make you grind and grind and grind and grind with the intention of making you give up and spend money. And that's why this game's an example of what's worse in video games currently and all the bad things in video games currently. This guy here says, paid €100 for the digital deluxe edition. Oh, yeah. And as he says here, feel disappointed, which I think is probably an understatement. lack of race tracks, and grind is terrible. So again, we're getting this grind thing. And the microtransactions are a joke. Nice driving, but I don't really feel like buying cars or turning equipment, or tuning equipment, because making money is too time intense. So you can see here that the reviews from actual people who've played the game with these microtransactions turned on aren't particularly impressed. And, you know, as I say, it isn't an issue just for this game. Other games have these kind of issues too. And it's not limited to PlayStation 5. The Xbox has, you know, similar issues. So, as I say, I'm not just singling out this game. Other games have had these issues, but, you know, come on, Sony. And Polyphony Digital. This is just ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous to take the piss out of your best customers in this way. But it gets even worse because the game's also always online. And that basically amounts to DRM, and extremely egregious DRM at that. Because even if you're playing the game offline, it still has to connect to servers. And that means if the servers go down, you can't play the game. And I said I'd come back to this, and I will. If we look up here, haven't been able to play the game for over a day because of server maintenance. Right. And what happens when down the line the servers are taken offline? You know, in a few years' time, when the servers are shut down, you won't be able to play the game at all. Doesn't matter that you're playing offline. The game will, in effect, be dead. Useless. And there's a couple of bits that you can play, but mostly it's useless. And again, this isn't just an issue for PlayStation, and it isn't just an issue for this game, but this game is a really good illustration of the problems we have with modern gaming. Servers go down, you can't play the game. Doesn't matter if it's an offline game or an online game, you won't be able to play it. It just gets worse and worse. And MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer, did a really good video on this, and this is his video. This is his video here. Online DRM has ruined Gran Turismo 7. And I'm not going to go through his video here because just watch his video. Just go and watch his video. When you finish watching this one first. Go and watch his video because it really goes into this in a bit more detail. And yeah, it's really worth a watch. And you know, he talks about this being a big problem, and it is a real big problem for game preservation moving forward. And I know, you know, as he says, and I'm going to say it again, it's not so big a problem at the moment, but if the servers go down temporarily, like that guy said, go back there again, you know, server maintenance, you can't play the game. And it was offline for ages. So this is where we are with these games. And the bottom line is that GT7, Gran Turismo 7, like many other games, is a potentially great game that's been utterly hobbled by bad decisions and greed. You know, let's go over it again. There's no need for a game to be $70 or £70 in the UK. There really isn't. And you can argue all you like about that. There isn't any need for a game to be that expensive. There's no need for a game to be $10 more for an upgrade. It should be just a price for the game, and if you're getting it on the later console, then you just get the better version. What's the problem? Just charge a fair price. The game's been developed regardless of what version you're playing it on, excuse me. So, yeah. Just have a price for the game and forget all this upgrade nonsense, which just confuses people. And as I said before, I think it confuses people deliberately. There's no need for microtransactions that cost upwards of $40. and could be as much as $200. I mean, you remember horse armor? People didn't moan enough about horse armor, and this is what it's led to. This is where we are now. $40 for a car, maybe $200 for a car. And you can bet your bottom dollar, that'll be 40 quid or 200 quid. There's no need for a primarily offline game to be always online. None whatsoever. And all this stuff, it's to stop piracy. It's bollocks. It's bollocks. It's control. I think Modern Vintage Gamer said that it's about control. Somebody said that anyway. May have been Rich at Review Tech USA, and check out his video on it as well. None of these things are necessary. And I'll tell you what else isn't necessary. It isn't necessary to buy a game that has so little respect for its consumers. There is no reason to buy this game as it stands at the moment. Unless they sort these things out, there's no reason to buy this game. Gran Turismo 7's gone the route of FIFA or the 2K sports games and put money before gameplay and greed before the consumer. And I'm sure there's a good game underneath, hiding to get out, buried under all this shit. But frankly, I'm not someone who wants to spend his time shoveling shit. I did have every intention of buying this game, but the greed and anti-consumerism on show's just staggering. It really is a great example of everything that's currently wrong with video games. And as such, GT7 can kiss my fat, hairy ass.